All in the world know the beauty of the beautiful, and in doing this, they have the idea of what ugliness is. They all know the skill of the skillful, and in doing this, they have the idea of what the want of skill is.
So it is that existence and non-existence give birth the one to the idea of the other. The difficulty and ease produce the one the idea of the other. That length and shortness fashion out the one the figure of the other. That the ideas of height and lowness arise from the contrast of the one with the other. That the musical notes and tones become harmonious through the relation of one with another, and that being before and behind give the idea of one following another. Therefore, the sage manages affairs without doing anything, and conveys his instructions without the use of speech.
All things spring up, and there is not one which declines to show itself. They grow, and there is no claim made for their ownership. They go through their processes, and there is no expectation. The work is accomplished, and there is no resting in it.
The work is done, but how? No one can cease. 'Tis this that makes the power not cease to be. Verse 2 begins exactly where verse 1 left off. If the first verse told us that the Tao cannot be named, this verse shows us exactly why. And the reason is so simple that it takes a moment to fully receive its weight. The moment you recognize something as beautiful, you have created in the same instant, in the same mind, the concept of ugliness. Not in the world, in the mind. The world contains a painting. The mind, the moment it says beautiful, has simultaneously constructed its opposite. You cannot name one pole of any pair without instantaneously generating the other. This is not a philosophical theory. You can test it right now. Think of something you consider beautiful. Hold it in your mind. Notice that the word beautiful is only meaningful to you because your mind already knows from long experience what not beautiful feels like. The concept requires its contrast to exist at all. Take away one pole, and the other vanishes with it. What Lao Tzu is uncovering here is the hidden architecture of all conceptual thought. Every category you have ever used, every word you have ever spoken, secretly contains its opposite, the way a magnet secretly contains both its poles. You cannot have one without the other. And the mind that does not know this is the mind that is constantly surprised, constantly destabilized, when beauty fades into ugliness, when skill reveals its limits, when what was high descends. The mind that does know this, that sees both poles of every pair simultaneously, is no longer ambushed by the turns of experience. This is the first of two great gifts verse 2 offers, and it leads directly to the second. Lao Tzu gives us 6 pairs, and each one teaches the same thing from a different angle, the way a diamond teaches light. Existence and non-existence give birth to each other, not sequentially, not first one, then the other, simultaneously. Every existing thing carries its non-existence within it, the way every lit flame carries its extinction already inside the burning. And every absence is full of the echo
of what it is the absence of. Difficulty and ease produce each other. Nothing is difficult in itself, only in relation to the current capacity of the one attempting it. The calligrapher who sweated over a single stroke for years performs it now with no effort at all. Difficulty was not a property of the stroke. It was the relationship between the stroke and the hand that hadn't learned it yet. Length and shortness fashion out each other. Height and lowness arise from contrast. There is no long without a short beside it, no high without a low beneath. These are not descriptions of the world. They are descriptions of a mind in relationship with the world, making comparisons that the world itself never makes. The musical notes become harmonious through their relation. This is perhaps the most extraordinary of the 6 pairs, because harmony is not a thing at all. It is a quality that exists only in the space between things, between the note and the note, between the sound and the listening. Harmony cannot exist alone. It requires relationship as the condition of its very existence. And before and behind give the idea of one following another. What we call the sequence of events, cause before effect, morning before evening, the teacher before the student, is not a property of time. It is a property of attention. The river ahead and the river behind are both simply river. 6 pairs, 1 principle. The world as we experience it, the named, categorized, evaluated world of beautiful and ugly, of difficult and easy, of high and low, is not discovered by the mind. It is constructed by the mind. From raw experience, the mind ceaselessly generates pairs, and then forgets that it generated them, and mistakes its pairs for facts. And from this understanding, something extraordinary follows. Therefore, the sage manages affairs without doing anything, and conveys his instructions without the use of speech. This is Wu Wei, and it is the most misunderstood concept in all of Taoist philosophy. It does not mean doing nothing. It does not mean passivity or withdrawal or indifference, and it certainly does not mean laziness dressed up in philosophical language. Wu Wei means acting without the ego's claim on the action, moving without forcing, working with the grain of things rather than against it. It means being so aligned with the natural process of a situation that your intervention is indistinguishable from the situation itself developing, the way a great teacher is indistinguishable from the moment the student finally understands. Consider what it means to teach without speech. The deepest transmission between human beings does not happen through words. It happens through presence, through the quality of attention someone brings to a room, through what they embody, not what they explain. Lao Tzu is not saying that words are useless. He is saying that the deepest instruction is what you are, not what you say. A doctor who has healed herself is teaching before she opens her mouth. A musician whose every movement expresses their relationship with their instrument is teaching before they play a note. A parent who has learned genuine patience is teaching their child what patience is in a way that no lecture on patience could ever achieve. The sage's instruction without speech is not silence.
It is a quality of being that the people around her absorb, the way a room absorbs warmth from a fire, without being told to, without any mechanism they could describe, without even noticing it happening. And this connects back to the verse's first insight. The sage can act without claiming the action, precisely because he sees through the pairing structure of the mind. He understands that doing and not doing are a pair, that action and non-action co-create each other. And so he acts from the space before that pair is formed, from the undivided source that contains both action and its absence, and is constrained by neither. All things spring up, and there is not one which declines to show itself. They grow, and there is no claim made for their ownership. They go through their processes, and there is no expectation. The work is accomplished, and there is no resting in it. This may be the most practically transformative passage Lao Tzu ever wrote, and it begins with an observation that is easy to miss because it seems obvious. All things spring up. The 10,000 things of the world, every plant, every animal, every idea, every wave on every ocean, arise of themselves, without being commanded to, without anyone claiming credit for their arising. They show themselves, because that is what arising things do. And from this, Lao Tzu draws a principle for human action that inverts almost everything we have been taught about achievement. We are taught to pursue outcomes, to set goals, to claim credit for results, to rest with satisfaction in what we have done. The entire architecture of modern ambition is built on the logic of, I worked, therefore I achieved, therefore I deserve the achievement, therefore I will rest in that deserving.
Lao Tzu does not say the work is not done. He says the work is done, but how, no one can see. The power lies precisely in the fact that the work is not claimed. The sage acts completely, fully, effectively, and then releases the action, the way a river releases the stone it has been carrying. Not because the action didn't matter, but because the moment you cling to the result of an action, you have stopped it from fully completing itself.
There is something here that every great artist, every great teacher, every great parent intuitively understands. The work that lasts is the work you were not watching when it happened. The conversation that changed someone's life is the one where you forgot for a moment that you were trying to help. The teaching that opened a student is the one where you stopped performing teaching and simply thought alongside them. The moment you step back from the work to admire what you have done, the moment you rest in the accomplishment, something in the work stops moving. Because the work was alive, precisely because you were not holding it. And the moment you grasp it to show it to someone, or to show it to yourself, something essential leaves.
The work is done, but how, no one can see. 'Tis this that makes the power not cease to be.
The power does not cease because it was never grasped. And what cannot be grasped cannot be taken away. 2 verses into the oldest book of Chinese philosophy, and already Lao Tzu has handed us something most wisdom traditions take volumes to approach. The world you think you see, the world of beautiful and ugly, of difficult and easy, of high and low, is real.
But it is not the only reality. Underneath it, prior to it, is the undivided experience from which the mind's pairs are drawn, the ocean from which every wave rises, the silence. And the sage, the figure Lao Tzu returns to again and again, is not someone who has escaped the world of pairs. He lives in it as fully as anyone. He feels beauty and ugliness, difficulty and ease, but he knows what they are. He holds them lightly. He acts through them without being trapped by them. He works without claiming the work. He teaches without owning the teaching. He leads without the need to be seen leading. And this is the reason, Lao Tzu says, this quality of acting without grasping, that the power does not cease. Because everything that is grasped eventually loses its grip on you. Every achievement you cling to eventually weighs you down. Every identity you rest in eventually becomes a prison. But the power that flows through hands that are always open, the power that never pauses to admire itself, that power has no ending. Because it was never owned, and what is never owned can never be lost. The verse ends there, with the hands open, with the work continuing, with the power that doesn't cease, precisely because it has never, for a single moment, been grasped. Verse 2, 500 words. 2,500 years. Still happening.